My name is Lindsey Anthony, and I currently live in Brockton, Massachusetts. Lived here all my life. I was actually born in Brooklyn, New York, up until 7, and I moved out here. My parents are both from Haiti, so I'm 100% Haitian. I was heavily into comedy. So Haitians don't really have anything to do with comedy at all. We just have movies and singing. And one time they had the TV playing and Eddie Murphy's Raw was on.
White people, period, y'all go crazy after y'all see a Rocky movie because y'all believe that shit.
So I actually memorized it. And for every family function, I would perform and charge everybody $1. And as I kept doing it, and I actually did it in kindergarten, and one of my teachers said, "So you're a stand-up comedian?" I'm like, "No, I'm Eddie Murphy." And she was like, "No, you're a stand-up comedian. That's what you're doing." And ever since then, I've always been the class clown, making everybody laugh. My family has no filter. So I've been swearing since I was about 2 years old. I was swearing before I was talking. And our sense of humor is very universal. We make fun of Haitians. We make fun of anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. We make fun of each other. So I was taught to take your pain and your insecurities and just make it laughter. So a lot of people just laugh at safe things. Me and my family, we laugh at things that aren't safe, things that you shouldn't be laughing about. And I was able to deal with many tragedies in my life with laughter. I moved to Boston when I was 7 years old. My mom had got into a relationship and she wanted to establish herself with this guy. So I went off and lived with my aunt when I was 7. I moved to Canton. We could barely afford it. But I moved here and immediately just loved it. I was tired of New York's craziness and the rats, and it was just gross, and Boston was clean. So yeah, 7 years old, I moved here. I loved it ever since. The comedy scene in Boston is so not diverse. It's a white-dominated comedy feel, and then on top of that, it's a lot of men. So I feel like I've reached a point in Boston where they're laughing at me because I'm black. So I get on stage and I could just be like, "What up, white people?" and everybody just laughs.
How's everybody doing tonight? You guys stopped clapping as soon as I got to the stage. You guys are like Lindsey Anthony from Boston. She's a white girl. And then after that, you see me, it's like, oh my God, they're taking our names. Freaking taking our names. They're taking everything.
So I think that they're just not used to it and they're laughing because they're uncomfortable, not because they're even trying to hear me. They're still trying to comprehend the fact that I'm black. It's the same old comedians that are comfortable with doing the same set every single night. Whereas I'll come up and I'll make a joke and they're like, "Oh, I know what she's going to talk about. She's going to talk about white people, but what else am I going to talk about?" I mean, it's just like songs. They talk about the same thing: love, sex, drugs. They just say it in different ways. I think that I have a lot of similar subjects. I just say it in different ways. So the comedy scene is not diverse. So I would love to shake it up a little bit. When I went to the Bay Area Black Comedy Competition, I'm thinking, Bay Area, this is the most hood place in America. I have to bring the hood. And I'm from the suburbs. So I went on stage and I brought out the hood, but there was so much suburbia in me that the crowd picked up on that fakeness instantly. So immediately, all I'm thinking in my head is, oh my God, just get off stage, just run. And I just said it. And I found out that honesty is the best thing when it comes to comedy because you can't be any more candid. So on stage, I'm like, all right, this is not even me. You know, I'm trying to be hood because I'm afraid I'm going to get shot. And, you know, I just said that and the crowd just bursted out in laughter. And I'm just like, I'm from the suburbs. And I just started making fun of myself. Once I was just honest with them, it just brought laughter. So I think the best thing to do when you find yourself as a comedian in a situation where people aren't laughing is to be honest. Just be like, hey, I don't know what you guys want me to do. And people just love honesty. My white audiences is what I grew up on. That's what I started with, was my white audiences, well, professionally. And the white audiences are more like, make me laugh. We are here to laugh. And you have to work for that laugh. When I do the black audience, I was just, the music is going, so it's like, doom, 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 do. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like, and they're like, coming to the stage, you seen her in Boston, you seen her here, you seen her there, give it up, get up out of your seats, stand up for Lindsey. And the music is playing and they're already laughing. So I feel like playing to the Black audiences, the energy is just there and you're just ready. And I mean, I love all my audiences, but I feel like when I want a challenge, when I want to make it really, like, I want to test out my jokes, I go to the white audiences. The Black audiences, they're so relatable to me. They're already laughing. As soon as they see me, they're like, I already know. And so it's just like, it depends on what I'm looking for is the audience that I'll play for. But I enjoy both audiences. So I was inspired by Eminem's 8 Mile. And after I left that movie a while back, I thought that I was a rapper. And me and my friends left that movie and we were all pretending to freestyle, and mine were actually really good. But actually, I tried to join all these BBW support groups and they're like, you're not BBW, you're not big enough. But then I wasn't small enough to be with the thin girls, and I've always been like in limbo. So I remember one time I asked my mom, I was like, what am I? She was like, you are a chubby girl. So from there I was just like, chubby, chubby, chubby. And my mom was like, and chubby girls rock. Boom.
Chubby girls rock. Chubby, 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 jiggle with it, jiggle with it, jiggle with it. 'Cause it's the chubby girl rock.
And I did it, and when I started sending it to everybody, everyone was like, I love it. And they're like, you should do a video. Shot a video. The response was crazy. I was getting emails from people from other states that was just like, oh my goodness, I feel you. And it wasn't like I was bashing anybody, because you could love yourself without bashing anyone. I wasn't like, oh, I hate skinny girls. It's just saying I rock. I may need some improvements, but I rock. And from there, everybody's like, well, when is your next one? I'm like, next one. And that's when I came up with Little Crazy and, wrote a rhyme to that. And then Little Crazy is real. Like, I'm crazy. And I was, I thought I was dating a dude until he let us know we're not dating. And I was like, well, I started doing crazy stuff. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, remember I told you I was a little crazy? Wrote a song about that. And everybody loved that one. And I heard Lil Wayne when he was talking about, all my niggas is rich as fuck. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, all my friends are poor. But we're big. So I'm like, well, all my bitches is big as fuck. And that just went along, and I just kept writing music from then on, and I just absolutely love it. I'm an artist. If I have to express my art in rap, I'll do it. If it's acting, if it's comedy, whatever it is, sometimes I just can't put it into a joke, so I'll put it into a song. At this point, from here on now, I am going to give 200%. I've come to the realization that this is who I am. I am Lindsey Anthony. I am comedy. I love it. I love making people laugh. I love being creative. And I want to give everything that I have in myself, within me, to be the best comedian that I can be. Right now I'm doing videos. I want to do shows. I just want to be me. The only thing I would have changed, but I'm glad, it's like a win-win, a win-lose. I wish that I was more me and I didn't hold back, because fear was my biggest challenge. It's just I was just so scared and thought so much about what people think and not having enough faith in myself. I wish I came out with more faith. I think there's some opportunities that I could have grasped, but I'm happy where I am now. I'm able to look back and see the growth. And for every comedian that's coming up, that's trying, I would tell you to definitely be you. Be you. Like, I can't stress this enough, how important that is. Because if you try to be somebody else, you're a replica and you're just committing suicide to yourself. So you need to just be you. And if people don't like you, guess what? There's the greatest comedians, actors, singers, they fail so much. Lauryn Hill, who's like one of my favorite singers, lost at Showtime at the Apollo. And it's just looking at all of the failures of the greats, you have to fail in order to win. So I would just totally tell everybody to be you. And that's what I'm going to do, because I see myself totally at the top, reinventing comedy as it is now.